Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a Boeing 737 pilot and a member of PMDG's tech team. In today's video we are going to have a look into one of the changes done to the PMDG Boeing 737 auto-throttle system that bring it closer to the real aircraft. Now, on previous versions the auto-throttle has very much been chasing the speed bug. That meant if we had minor variations from the target speeds like we are having right now, you can see it's very slowly running down. The auto-throttle would be adjusting your thrust in order to maintain the command speed exactly. Now that is not how it works on the real airplane. On the real airplane we have a problem with thermal loading of the engine. Now every time you change your thrust, you are also going to change the temperatures inside the engine, which in turn brings you some thermal loading on the airplane. Just imagine a piece of metal that you heat up, it's going to expand, and when it cools back down it is going to contract again. And the very same happens in a jet engine. Now, imagine if you were constantly changing your turbine temperatures. You can imagine that the thermal loading on the engine might very well be greatly affected from that, and that would simply lead to the airplane's lifespan being reduced, or rather to the engine's lifespan being reduced. Now, what can we do about that? Quite simple. Ask yourself a question. If the speed is like now, commanded at 250 knots, is it going to be much of a problem if it instead flies 251 knots, or 254 knots, or maybe 245? The answer to that is quite simple, no. It's not going to be a problem. And that is exactly what the auto-throttle is programmed to do. The auto-throttle is going to set a target thrust, and then it is more or less going to keep it over there, and it will accept some minor deviations in speed of approximately 5 knots or 0.015 Mach before it is actually going to adjust the N1 in order to go back to the target speed. Now, we can see that happening right now. It's just reduced the N1 by 0.1 as it recognized that the speed was very slowly going up. And that is pretty much how the airplane is going to work now. It is going to accept some minor speed deviations from the target speed in order to keep a constant thrust setting, thereby keep a constant EGT and a constant temperature inside the turbine. Now here's a little warning for those of you who love to fly the airplane very fast. If you're operating the airplane on some very high cost indexes and you're getting to cruise speeds of about Mach 0.8, then be aware of the following feature. The auto-throttle is going to accept deviations of 0.015 Mach. That means if you are planned to operate at Mach 0.80, it is going to accept the speed to increase to Mach 0.815. Now the maximum operating Mach number is 0.82. That in turn means that when we change our cruise speed to such a high speed like Mach 0.8, which we will rarely fly in real life by the way, but if we were to do that, then we could very easily approach the maximum operating Mach number. Similarly, if you want to fly the airplane even faster, there is a protection built into the auto-throttle for overspeeding the airplane, which is going to activate at 0.815, which is then rapidly going to reduce your thrust. However, with even the slightest turbulence, you will probably overspeed the airplane. Since that is something that we definitely don't want, we need to be careful and operate the airplane in a sensible manner. Now, especially once the new update is released, it will mean that whenever you enter some turbulent conditions, you will probably want to reduce your Mach number to below 0.8. I personally would recommend something in the region of 0.77, then you still have a bit of margin. Now, the Boeing recommended turbulence penetration Mach number would be 0.76, but that might as well bring you very close to the lower speed limit, since keep in mind, the auto-throttle will not just accept positive deviation, but it will also accept some negative deviations, as you can see on the screen right now. So, I hope that you found this one interesting, and let me know what you think about this new feature. And by the way, I know that some of you guys will be saying that can't you work on some more interesting stuff and can't you work on some of the more relevant stuff like the EFB? The answer to that is it's different developers working on different kinds of products. So the developer for this one was working on the auto throttle anyway, so that's why we went ahead and suggested some of those new features to be implemented. Now, I would like to thank you very much for watching, hope that you have enjoyed this one. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, leave a like for the video if you do like it, and if you really want to support the channel you can do that through the Buy Me a Coffee link that you can find in the video description below. For now, thank you very much for your attention, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.